I don't know why this memory still sits so heavy with me, but it does. I was 17, still living at my dad's place, and nights were the same. School the next day, homework half done, and me staying up way later than I should have, sitting at my desk with a headset on, playing games with friends online. Just noise in my ears, blue light from the monitor, and that feeling you get late at night where time kind of stops feeling real. That night, I was alone in the house. My dad was working late, which wasn't unusual. He did that a lot back then. I remember texting him earlier asking when he'd be home and getting a short reply like, "Late, don't wait up." So I didn't. I made a frozen pizza, burned the edges a little, ate it in my room, and went back to gaming. My room was at the end of the hallway upstairs. Small room, bed against the wall, desk in the corner, door directly behind me when I was sitting at my computer. I always locked my door at night. Not because I was scared, just habit. I liked knowing nobody was going to randomly walk in on me while I was playing or talking trash into my mic. The lock was one of those simple ones, just a turn knob. You could hear it click. I remember locking it earlier. I'm not fuzzy on that part. I locked it, sat down, put my headset on, and got back into the game. At some point I took the headset off because my ears were getting sore, and I turned my volume down so it was just coming from the speakers. That's important, I guess, because if I hadn't done that, I might not have heard anything at all. I was mid-match when I heard a sound behind me. I thought it was the game or something in my PC, but I felt it. That weird feeling where your body reacts before your brain does, like something just changed. I turned around in my chair. My bedroom door was open, enough to see the dark hallway beyond it, maybe a foot or so. I just stared at it. My brain went straight to dumb explanations. Maybe I forgot to lock it. Maybe the lock didn't catch. Maybe the house shifted or something. Old houses make noise, doors move, that kind of thing. My heart was beating faster than it should have been. I got up, walked over, and looked into the hallway. Lights were off, no footsteps, no voices. I stepped out, checked my dad's room. Empty. Bathroom empty. I went back into my room, closed the door, and locked it again. I stood there, hands still on the knob, listening. Nothing. I told myself to chill out. I remember actually saying that out loud, just me in my room saying relax. I sat back down and tried to keep playing, but I wasn't really paying attention anymore. I kept glancing at the door like every few seconds. It didn't help that my back was to it. I hated that suddenly. Like 5 minutes passed, maybe 10. I don't know, time got weird. And I saw something at the bottom of the door. I thought it was just the light from my screen doing something strange. My room was dark except for the monitor glow, and the gap under the door usually let in a thin line of darkness from the hallway. But this was different. The shadow wasn't still. It moved, slowly, side to side, like something passing in front of the door on the other side. I didn't even breathe for a second. I just watched it. The shadow stopped. Then it moved again closer to the door, like whoever or whatever it was had stepped right up against it. That's when the reality of it hit me. Someone was in the house. My hands started shaking. I remember my mouse sliding a little because I couldn't keep it steady. I muted my game without saying anything to my friends. I don't even remember what excuse I gave, if I gave one at all. I stood up slowly and backed away from the desk. I didn't want to make noise. The floor creaked sometimes, and I was suddenly very aware of every little sound my body made. My phone was on my bed. I grabbed it and unlocked it, trying not to let it slip out of my hands. I didn't call the cops. I called my dad. He picked up on the second ring. I didn't even say hi. I just whispered, "Dad, someone's in the house." He asked what I meant. I told him the door opened, that I saw a shadow under my bedroom door. I could hear his tone change immediately. He told me to lock myself in and stay quiet. He said he was leaving work right then and driving back as fast as he could. He also told me to call the cops. I hung up and just stood there, phone in my hand, staring at the door. The shadow was still there. I could see it shifting slightly, like whoever it was, moving their weight around. I dialed the number with shaky fingers. I was trying to keep my voice calm when I talked, but it kept cracking anyway. I told them someone was in my house and that I was locked in my room. They said they were sending someone. After that, all I could do was wait. I backed up until my legs hit the bed and sat down. I didn't know where else to go. My room felt smaller than it ever had. I could hear my own breathing, loud in my ears. The hum of my computer fan sounded like footsteps. The house settling sounded like doors opening. Then the shadow disappeared. For a second, I felt this weird relief, like maybe whoever it was left. Maybe they heard me on the phone. Maybe they realized someone was coming. But I heard something right outside my door, not footsteps exactly, like fabric brushing against the floor. And then the shadow came back, lower this time. It dropped to the ground. I realized what was happening right as it happened. Someone knelt down on the other side of my door. The shadow shifted, and then I saw it. Two shapes, darker than the rest, right up against the gap under the door. Eyes. Someone was peeking under my door. I don't know how long we stayed like that. It could have been a second. It could have been longer. It felt like forever. I could see the whites of their eyes, just barely, catching the light from my room. They weren't blinking much, just staring. My brain completely shut down. I didn't think. I didn't plan. I just screamed. It was loud. It just came out of me. I jumped back, dropping my phone, and scrambled onto the bed, pressing myself against the wall like that would somehow help. The eyes vanished immediately. I heard movement, running away, not trying to be quiet anymore. I grabbed my phone off the bed and started yelling into it, saying he was there, that I saw him, that he ran. I was crying and shaking so hard my teeth were chattering. Minutes later, I heard sirens in the distance. That was the longest few minutes of my life. I didn't unlock the door. I didn't move. I sat there waiting, staring at the handle, expecting it to start turning. I heard my dad's voice downstairs, shouting my name, then other voices. Someone knocked on my door and told me it was okay to come out. I unlocked it with hands that barely worked. The hallway lights were on. People were there. My dad looked like he'd aged 10 years in an hour. They checked the house, but they didn't find anyone. What they did find were the front and back doors. Both open. Unlocked. They'd been locked earlier. I knew that. My dad knew that. He was big on locking up before he left. Whoever it was had gotten in, walked around the house, come upstairs, opened my door, stood outside it, and then left without taking anything. No missing stuff. No signs of a break-in beyond the doors. I still lock my door at night. I don't think that feeling ever really went away.